Good morning once again to everyone. Welcome and thank you for being here today, so early in the day. I'm Ljubcho Božinovski and I will be your moderator of this workshop. I'm part of AG Futura Technologies from Skopje, and one of my work position and duties at this company is also being project manager from our side, from AG Futura side, for the EARTHONE project. So yeah, I'm excited to help facilitate today's session. First of all, what is this project and what is the mission of EARTHONE? So the mission of EARTHONE project is to address the pressing issue of preserving and enhancing Earth's natural terrestrial greenhouse gases sinks by understanding how different drivers, including socioeconomic, demographic, and physical constraints, affect greenhouse gases fluxes. So this project adopts, I would say, unique and interdisciplinary approach, integrating state-of-the-art data-driven technology with regional context, with a special focus on the most vulnerable areas in South and Mediterranean Europe, including Spain, Italy, Slovenia, Croatia, North Macedonia, through pilots to offer effective multi-target solutions and guideline to all relevant stakeholders. But more about the project itself later in today's workshop. Today's workshop is the third one in a row after the previous two in-person workshops successfully completed in Italy and Greece. And I would like to use this moment to send special thank you to our dear professors Paolo Carletti from the University of Padua and Vasilis Antoanidis from the University of Thessaly for their successful work in those two workshops. As I said, this workshop is focusing on the digital tools that will be implemented and developed during the course of this project. And our goal is to present them and collect your feedback, your desired functionalities, your desired requirements in some way, and everything in order to have a co-creation process to make sure we have and we get the most out of this. I encourage you to ask questions, to share ideas, give feedback. Please keep your mics muted unless speaking, and use the chat for comments. Yes, thank you, Julia. This is our housekeeping rules. Share ideas, give feedback. As I said, please keep your mics muted unless speaking. Use the chat for comments during the presentations. And if you want to speak, yeah, raise the hand. We will give you the floor. Just a quick, boring legal note before we start. With joining to this meeting and this workshop, you all confirm that your participation in this workshop is entirely voluntary, and that no one forced you to join, and that you're free to withdraw from the workshop at any time without providing a reason and without any negative consequence. And that you consent to the workshop being recorded for the purposes of research, analysis, and promotional use. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please, which is our current in today's agenda. So quick look at our schedule as an introduction. We'll begin with our representatives from Spain, Universidad Politécnica de Madrid, or the Technical University of Madrid, a researcher and PhD in Communication System Technology and Artificial Intelligence, Mr. Borja Rojo Gallenda, will take care of the presentation about climate change and greenhouse gases, followed by a quick questionnaire. And then Professor Ms. Silvia Alba Uribe Mayoral, PhD in Technology and Communication System, who's also our main project coordinator of the project EARTHONE, will proceed with the presentation about the project itself. After that comes the fun part, starting with the presentation about the development of the multi-sensing capabilities and IoT infrastructure, or simply said, the sensors that will be used in the project, for the project, conducted by Mr. David Fabian, Technology Development Manager at CEDARS Slovenia. And for those who are IT geeks, so we have our next two and final presenters, Mr. Aris Bonanos, PhD in Aerospace Astronautical Engineering, and current Research and Innovation Manager at Exus AI Labs. who will take care of the scenario builder and the AI-based decision support recommendation engine. We will finish our presentations with Mr. Juan Sebastian Ochoa Zambrano, PhD in Computer Science and Technology and Research and Development Senior Consultant at SATEC, Spain, and Mr. Miguel Ángel López Peña, PhD in Computer Science and Research Development and Innovation Manager at SATEC, with more than 35 years of experience in ICT companies. So it's a pleasure to have you here with us, sir, who will present the EARTHONE's informational factory. Quick note, after each of these presentations, we will have a short overview and a small discussion of what results we got from the SWOT analysis in the first two workshops. Try to hear your voice and opinion regarding this, and we will finish each part with answering a few questions dedicated to that tool. We'll have QR codes for the questionnaires to access them with your mobile phones. And also a link will be provided in the chat for those who want to use their laptops or PCs. Just so you know, the answers to the questions are anonymous. With that said, with us today are also Ms. Julia Colomer and Mr. Andrei Yaroshchuk from our Spanish consortium partner, Australa. Special thank you to them for their dedication and all the behind-the-scenes effort and hard work for this workshop. Ms. Julia will be in charge of sharing the presentation and the questionnaire in the proper slot, and Andrei will share the links to the questionnaire and other relevant information on the chat. Also, one final note, quick reminder to all the speakers, keep an eye on the clock and try not to run over and get carried away. We know it's easy to get passionate about your topic. So let's get started with our first session, a brief introduction to greenhouse gases, climate change, and their effects on land use, led by Mr. Borja from the Technical University of Madrid. Over to you, Borja, we are ready for you.
Thank you very much, Ljubcho. Hi, everyone. So yes, this first part tries to tackle, let's say, the problematic that we have with the interaction between greenhouse gases, climate change, and land use. So next slide, please. Yeah, so this interaction is driven by greenhouse gases. So climate change and land use are mostly like linked through the effect of greenhouse gases. GHGs are also an acronym that is used for them. So what is the role that they play within this relationship? So the concentration of these gases provides, let's say, an environment in which radiation is kept trapped within the atmosphere. So at the end of the day, what happens is that, let's say that radiation that should escape, that is incoming from the sun, never escapes the atmosphere, and then the Earth system gets warmer, let's say, in general, in average. So there are several major GHGs. The most well-known, of course, is CO2, carbon dioxide. It comes from many different sources: fossil fuels, deforestation, also degradation of organic biomass, etc. Then we have also methane that comes from livestock, agriculture, waste decomposition. We have nitrous oxide from fertilizers, also from fossil fuels. Water vapor that normally is a little bit forgotten. It comes from natural occurrence, but also from some fossil fuels as well, for energy production, for example. Then we also have ozone that due to the fact that, let's say, these radiation schemas are modified, then there are some reactions that promote that ozone appears to be in places that it shouldn't. But again, this is a GHG, and of course, it promotes like the trapping of radiation. And lastly, we have fluorinated gases that come from industrial processes. Next slide, please. So let's say what has happened during the past time with GHGs. So you may be aware that there are two types of, let's say, induction processes for GHGs, we have the natural induction and the human-enhanced induction, or the anthropogenic induction can also be called. So for the natural, let's say, processes, of course, GHGs are really needed for life. So the atmosphere is a very complex system that started being mostly CO2 and has evolved over time so that it can support life with also other concentrations of oxygen that we can breathe, for example. But at the end of the day, since the beginning of the Earth system, there has been a concentration of different GHGs. The problem is that we as human beings have induced, let's say, a perturbation over this balance. And we have moved from, let's say, if you've noticed in the picture, in the diagram, the left-hand side is related to the natural induction process of these greenhouse gases, where some of the heat or the radiation, gets trapped. Then, of course, there's some heat that escapes into the space. But if we move to the right, that is our current balance, then we have like a major trapped radiation due to the fact that we have more GHGs. So this is what, let's say, human beings have done, let's say, into the Earth atmospheric system in relationship to GHGs and climate change. Next slide, please. Okay, so what is climate change? Climate change has a very complex definition, in the sense that there are two different things again that drive climate change. One is like natural climate change, in the sense that due to historical processes, natural and physical processes, the Earth system has evolved. Climate has not been stable a long time. There has been like glaciations. There have also been like heat waves in the past. So as you may be aware, climate change relates to long-term alterations in the temperature, precipitation, and any like weather condition that can alter like this system. And of course, historically, it has been the result of natural phenomena. For example, volcanic eruptions, but it could be like, the solar variability, ocean currents, any of these like examples that you have here. But also we have cause and impact over climate change, mostly due to GHGs emissions. So the anthropogenic activity, as you have already noticed due to the previous slides, has an effect over climate, and this effect can be measured, as we will see in the next slide. So how has this effect happened? So we have like the major maybe player in this effect is the global warming. So global warming stands for the average raising of temperatures over time. So if we notice in the figure, the left part is related to pre-industrial levels. So it is like the baseline temperature that we normally use to compare how has been the trend during the past time. So this trend has evolved in a way that, let's say, initially it was slightly increasing, but at the end it got like a very high slope, and this slope has got us far away from the what would be the case in which only natural drivers are present. So if you notice that the green curve that has also some confidence intervals within it is like what we would expect if we didn't have human-related GHGs. And then we have the red curve that is like the smoothing that, of course, due to some variability that we have, intrinsic variability. And the idea is that these two curves, of course, should be as close as possible. We are not in that case. Due to GHGs, we have already reached like some thresholds that we never thought that we could reach, and we will see them later on. So present-day climate change, of course, is mainly associated with global warming, and climate change in a broader sense also affects, as I was saying, historical long-term changes. I would like to ask, before going to the next slide, also to break the ice, if someone could tell me what are the most noticeable consequences of climate change. I have a couple annotated here, but it would be nice if someone can like try to guess some of them. . Okay, I'll start. So first and foremost, we have heat waves. So there are three factors that would affect heat waves. The frequency, so heat waves are more frequent. The duration, heat waves are going to last longer, and also the intensity. So these heat waves are going to raise higher temperatures or to higher temperatures. Is there someone that you want? Otherwise, I can go over the answers, of course.
Is it maybe rising sea levels?
Yes, this is one of the major consequences. So as we have like the problem in which ice gets melted, then of course sea levels are going to rise. There are indeed major risk over coastal areas. Not so much time ago, I saw let's say some news regarding a country that was about to get completely flooded, and they were trying to move to Australia. So this is something that has actually started happening. And yeah, for example, Netherlands and other countries that are very flat and maybe around the sea level, they could have like major issues with, in this regard. Any other idea? Thank you, Lucho, by the way.
Yeah, well, there will be also changes in the biogeochemistry cycles of some elements. Of course, the higher temperature will also speed up the mineralization of soil organic matter, for example.
Yeah, yeah, you're right, Giancarlo. Indeed, for example, the degradation of organic matter is something that should concern us because at the end, this degradation that is induced by heat at the end can provide like or can increase indeed the emissions of, for example, carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which would create even a worse situation, a worse scenario. I have a couple more things that I would like to share with you so that we don't waste more time here. So the overall precipitation is also reduced. This affects crops, for example. Of course, this affects like species themselves because maybe the habitats in which they were used to live has changed. Also, nowadays we have tried to focus on precision agriculture to improve irrigation, etc. techniques. But still, this is a major concern. And of course, the rise of overall temperature with all the different consequences that this could pose. Next slide, please. So some really facts about climate change. We have already reached 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels. This was one of the thresholds that was supposed to be never reached. We have already like July 2023, and this is going to, I guess, be surpassed not so long from now, was the hottest month with temperatures reaching 17 degrees. I also read that a desert in, I think it was USA, reached 45 degrees during this year, and it was the hot during a month, the average temperature. So it was like also the hottest ever recorded average temperature in a place in history. Also, of course, the frequency of extreme events rises, so we are going to see more hurricanes, wildfire, floods, etc. And of course, we have the consequences that directly affect us due to heat waves. We have seen like people passing away due to the heat waves. In Spain, for example, we have seen quite a lot of cases, and from year to year, this raises. Next slide, please. So yeah, very quick notes about this. The anthropogenic GHGs emissions started during the Industrial Revolution. Now we have reached a point due to the combustion of fossil fuels, etc., that let's say almost all the GHG emissions come from anthropogenic causes. So we have, let's say, increased the number of the concentration of CO2 from 280 ppms, and now we have reached more than 420. I guess that this number could be even like updated. We are beyond that point. We have also doubled methane. We have increased N2O. Next slide, please. so what are the origins for all of this? So the first, we have energy production. There we rely quite a lot, not all the countries, but we rely quite a lot on fossil fuels. Normally fossil fuels have a combustion process, and this is where like the emission of GHGs usually happens. So we can think of like nuclear power plants, for example, water vapor they release, carbon power plants, gas power plants, etc. All of these emit GHGs. Then we have industry, also due to similar processes normally associated with combustion, but we also have like other inductors of climate change, other GHGs, as we were seeing before. Then we have agriculture that is closely linked to this project. So agriculture, due to some techniques, and also livestock are GHG emitters. And of course, these numbers should be lowered. And this is one of the things that we try to tackle within the project. We have transport, also deforestation and land use due to the management techniques as well, more related to forestry, buildings, and well, fluorinated gases that are like very scarce. Next slide, please. So what are like the major emissions from agriculture and livestock? That is one of the goals that we aim to tackle here, or to understand better, is first the fermentation, CH4, and also agricultural soils. So this and manure management, of course. So these kind of things like promote that climate change happens. We really need to make sure that these processes that are associated with agriculture and livestock remain as sustainable as possible, due to the fact that it is like a nature-related process or system, and we should try to like limit the contributions that it does to climate change in general. Next slide, please. So let's focus now on like specific topics regarding agriculture. First, as we were saying, temperatures are rising, so crop yields are going to be reduced. This is also related to the next point with droughts. Reduced availability of water will cause crop yield reduction. Floods, storms, wildfires can affect also productivity, can affect also the food chains, can affect even like people's houses, people's production systems. Also, we have like the shift in climate is going to affect the place in which many pests and diseases can live. So we are going to see more incoming like diseases and pests into any of the systems that we usually manage. And of course, climate change contributes to soil degradation, and this also affects crop yields and in general the ecological environment. Next slide, please. And closely related to agriculture, we have forestry, let's say, effects. So they are very similar, but maybe the scope is a little bit different. So higher temperatures, dry conditions create the perfect environment for wild forest fires. So in the sense that like we are living in the context in which the new generation wildfires are happening, and they are causing major issues, as you may be aware of. So also higher temperatures affect the distribution of the ecosystems. Of course, again, related to pests, insects, there are shifts in distribution of these species that can affect areas that were never affected in the past. And again, droughts and heat stress can weaken forest and, for example, cause like branch falls and similar incidents in urban areas, in parks in urban areas. So we have seen also people passing away to the consequences of climate change. Next slide. So now I give the floor back to Lupcho. He's going to present the questionnaire. And thank you very much for let's say, listening to me. I hope that you found this interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Borja, for this the thought-provoking presentation. I think we've covered a lot from greenhouse gases and emissions to their impact on crops, forests, and soils. Before we move to the questionnaire, I would like to hear from the participants in the workshop. Just a quick question. based on what we heard, which impact of climate change they find most visible in their daily life or work. For me personally, I mean, it's the wildfires. This year alone, only in our country, we have experienced more than 60 wildfires larger than 30 hectares, and that figure doesn't even include the smaller ones. Also interesting article I read a few days ago across the European Union by beginning of August this year. Wildfires have already destroyed more than 511,000 hectares of land. So that's really big number and clear sign how serious the climate crisis has become. So if there is anyone from the audience who would like to share their thoughts, they can, I mean, raise their hand or type in the chat their answers.
Dupto, I also want to share some data here. So in Spain, we also got a major issue this year with fires, and 400,000 hectares were burned during this year. It was a record, of course, and almost all the wildfires happened in August. So it was like a very huge crisis related to also to all the different firefighters that were fighting in there. Also, we needed to like ask some help from Portugal and France. So we had major issues as well.
Yeah, I think it's a problem that is affecting whole Europe. Really, really big problem. Okay, if we don't have any volunteers who would like to share their thoughts, I suggest we move to the questionnaire, where we can collect the perspective in a more structured way. So on this slide, you will see the QR code that you can scan with your phone to access the questionnaire. If you prefer to use the browser, Andre will also share a link in the chat. So you can also click on the link and you will get redirected to the questionnaire. We'll have about, I don't know, 8 minutes to answer and complete, and then we will move to the next part of the workshop and of the session.
So this is related to perception. So I think that it is very relevant that we have 22 responses. Thank you for zooming in, by the way. So we have 22 answers. Here, the major thing is that most of the people realize that there are some impacts that affect the region over the last 10 years. So either not some noticeable impact or like major changes that impact even like the daily life work. Let's go to next question. This is also very related to perception. I see that most of the people have like flagged the increased temperature. Of course, this is like one of the things that we were discussing, but there are also some noticeable changes like droughts, rainfall patterns, and changes in growing seasons. So yeah, I think that most of you are very aware of what is the situation. Can we move to next question, the 7? Yeah. So this is also regarding like awareness and perception. So most of the people realize that due to like climate change, we have decreased agricultural production. We have water shortages. For example, in France, they affected, as you know, energy production in terms of power plants. I think it was mainly last year. So again, I think that perception is quite good. Let's move to question number 11. So this is also very related to awareness. So regarding the like regarding the perception that each of the persons here has, like deforestation, fossil fuels, and high energy consumption may be like the most prominent like ideas to highlight here. Then let's go to question number 20. So I think that this is very relevant. So as you know, within this project, we aim to like provide digital tools. So I think that many of the people in here would like to or are interested in these kind of tools. We will be describing them more afterwards in the decisions given by my colleagues. Then to the next question, please. So also this is going to be extended subsequently, but I see that most of you are very let's say interested in raising awareness. I think that one of the key things of real-time monitoring of emissions is that we can raise awareness of, let's say, the carbon footprint, for example, that each of us has. So it is very important. I think that it goes into this direction, but also like cost-benefit analysis and I don't know, this kind of easy to understand reporting and visualization. I think that all these like major outcomes are also possible to be provided within the project. And I totally align with these strategies. So yeah, I don't have much more to comment. I think that results themselves are, let's say, quite interesting, and I think that people is very aware, at least in this session. So thank you very much for your answers, and let's move forward if you want.
Thank you, Borja. All right, I think we can wrap up this part and move to the next session, led by Professor Silvia from the University of Madrid, who is also the main project coordinator of the EARTHONE project, and really who better to present the project than her. So we'll begin with a brief introduction to the project and then dive into the individual digital tools and technologies. Professor, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Lucio. So, as he has just said, my name is Silvia Uribe. I'm an associate professor here at the Universidad Politécnica de Madrid. And I would like to thank you, all of you, for joining us today. As coordinator of the EARTHONE project, I would like to briefly introduce our work. Although Lucio has given you some details about our project. So we can move to the next slide, please. EARTHONE project is an European project funded under the Horizon Europe program, specifically within the Land Use Change and Local and Regional Climate Goal. Is it a research and innovation action involving 17 different partners from 10 different European countries? The global mission of our project address one of today's biggest challenges. Please, you can move to the next one. I said that we are addressing one of today's biggest challenges, which is how to use land in a more wisely way in order to fight against climate change. Our goal is to protect and enhance natural capacity to absorb GHG gases while helping farmers, foresters, and other stakeholders make better decisions for both their works, the people, and the planet. So to achieve these goals, you can move to the next slide. To achieve these goals, EARTHONE combines innovative tools, artificial intelligence, and real-world experience. Our solution will be directly tested in the field through different pilots that I am going to present lately. And the pilots are going to be focusing agriculture, forestry, and land restoration. And we are going also to try to engage policymakers, land managers, and citizens in order to ensure that our results are practical, are user-friendly, and are aligned within the Europe's climate goals. We follow, for doing all of this, an integrated approach, bringing together, as I said, advanced data-driven technologies and local knowledge to design practical solutions for land and climate stakeholders. Our work is structured in 4 different pillars. The first one is about a clear methodology for risk management. The second one is about focusing using diverse data sources through a multisensory ecosystem and platform. We are going to be focused also in robust AI models to guide decision making. And finally, we are going to define a specific localization that are going to generate evidence and policy recommendations. These pillars will ensure that EARTHONE is scientifically sound and directly useful for the real-world decision making. To guide our work, we have defined 9 different SMART objectives. You can move to the next one. And the next one, please. Our first objective is going to be focused on designing and validating a multi-tier technology methodology that is going to improve the resilience in specific areas through sustainable agriculture, forestry, and integrated resource management. And then we are going to try to scale this knowledge across all Europe. The second one is going to be focusing harmonizing climate, soil, and land databases, and to build on top of that different AI models that are going to support simulation, visualization, and GHG gas monitoring at different scales, at local scale, regional, and also at European scale. The third objective is going to be focused in creating a technological ecosystem that connects sensing technologies with different climate models in order to try to generate added value services aligned with the European Green Deal. You can move to the next one. Objective 4 is going to be focused on compliance and monitoring. We are committed to implementing and expanding EARTHONE activities in line with the regulatory framework at national and also regional level, in order to try to be sure that everything we do fully agree and respects legal and policy requirements. Objective 5 is about awareness and literacy. In this point, our main aim is to boost knowledge about land use change, and forestry, not only from the technical perspective, but also by highlighting the social and economic dimensions of sustainability at local and regional levels. Objective 6 addresses the science policy interface. We are going to analyze the interaction between climate change and land use, trying to combine EARTHONE's data with external data sources in order to create important reports. These are going to help us developing new approaches to quantify impacts and support evidence-based decisions. You can move to the next one, please. Objective 7 is going to be focused on vegetation responses to climate change. We are going to combine weather data, satellite observation, climate simulation, and ground measurements to study how the ecosystem will adapt at both regional and local scales. Objective 8 is going to be about the economic and societal transformation. Here, the goal is to link the LULUCF sector with the business opportunities and social benefits in order to ensure that sustainability also delivers tangible value for communities and industry. And finally, Objective 9 aims to maximize the impact through different collaboration. We are going to try to connect EARTHONE with other EU-funded projects, Green Deal data spaces, Horizon Europe initiatives, and other kind of stakeholders in order to ensure that our results are amplified and widely shared. You can move to the next one. At the core of this mission is our innovative digital platform, which integrates data from IoT devices, soil, climate, vegetation sensors. We are going to use also satellite images And in top of that, we are going to create and to provide different AI services in order to provide decision support tools for land and research management. And we are going to provide different parts of this platform in the next slots. And you can move to the next one, please. And once we have this platform ready, we are going to test it in real-world pilots across Europe. We have 6 different pilots. The first one here is in Spain, in Tablas de Daimiel, in which we are going to be focusing sustainable agro-silvo pastoral systems to enhance oak growth and ecosystem services. The second one that we have here is going to be in Greece, in Montempilio. We are going to be focusing soil health and slope stabilization, and erosion control in apple orchards. We have also another one in Italy, which is going to be focused on soil conservation and restoration, microbial activity and carbon storage. You can move to the next one, please. So the fourth one is going to be in Croatia, which is going to be focused in wetland ecosystems in order to monitor and better management about the water and the ecosystem related. The fifth one is going to be in Slovenia, which is going to be related with forestry, nutrient cycle, and monitoring of wild food production such as truffles. And finally, the last one, it is going to be in North Macedonia, and it is going to be focused on sustainable cherry farming with smart irrigation and integrated pest management. So this is our 6 different pilots. You can move to the next one. This is more or less a general idea about our project. The project started in January, so we are within the first year, we are trying to define all the requirements, the technical requirements, the requirements from the different stakeholders, and try to start defining the technical platform, the pilots, and so on. So if you have any kind of questions, please go ahead. I would like to thank you again for your attention. Sorry for the technical problem, and here we are if we have any doubt or question about the project. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Silva, for walking us through the EARTHONE project and its ambitious vision, which stands out from my point of view, is how EARTHONE will connect scientific innovation with real-world land use challenges from Spain to Greece, Italy, and beyond. Professor, just a short question for you. Which part of the EARTHONE approach, technology, policy, or local action, do you think will make the biggest difference?
Well, I think that all goals align to have all the objectives. I think that we need to provide a good ground about the technical part in order to try to obtain real data, in order to build on it the different AI services that we are going to provide. And I think that the most important part is to try to provide specific tools that the real stakeholders are needing. So I think that unless during this first year, the most important part is to try to understand what are the unmet needs and how we can help these stakeholders with our technology to try to make things better.
Yes, great. So we come to the part about technology. Mr. David Fabian from CEDAR Slovenia will present us his task, the development of the multi-sensing capabilities and IoT infrastructure, or with simple words, the sensors and the equipment that will be used on the pilot sites. So David, please go ahead and start. We are ready for you.
Kind introduction. My name is David Fabian. I'm a technical head at the Cedars company. We are just a small company, but we are lucky that in our research group is also expert for meteorological stations, implementations, soil measurements and stuff. So we were really glad when the coordinator invited us to this project. So about the sensors. So we were trying to produce as many sensors that could enable, let's say, uninterrupted continuous monitoring of the soil processes, of the processes about the ground of the soil and the vegetation. Can you please go to the next slide? So we are just a small technical part. Like I said, as a technical head, my main concern is reliability and as less maintenance as possible. And of course, the validation of the data. The data needs to be calibrated and validated. So for this purpose, we try to understand what the researchers in the pilots are doing, and we try to produce as many sensors, like I said, that could be rugged, that could be self-operated, and hopefully we can build enough data to build enough scenarios to make some good predictions in the information factory. So our purpose is, let's say, to show as many sensors as possible that are in any way helping to understand and prepare policies for land use and land change. In this project, we are focusing more on, let's say, agriculture and agroforestry, and maybe less on the urban areas. Maybe we will tackle some more urban areas in the next project. So yeah, we have divided the land-based sensors into three distinctive nodes. We want to introduce this technical strategy, land sensor, satellite, and smartphones that was previously used with precise agriculture. And the best cost-effective strategy is to let's say divide measurements of soil health and climate and vegetation into three distinctive nodes, and this way be able to cover all the needs of the pilots. Next slide, please. So first we introduce the soil node. So we are really concerned about setting up this node. So we wouldn't do, let's say, any calibrations of sensors or, let's say, any removal of components, because after you install the sensor, everything you do is just disturbing the soil and making the data corrupt. So for the soil node, we are installing the probes directly into the soil at the different depths. We were basically measuring volumetric soil temperature, soil water content, electrical conductivity, and we try to use, let's say, semi-professional grade of sensors to cover all the needs. So just to give you a small example, let's say semi-professional sensor for soil fluxes is around, let's say, 1,000 euros. Professional measurement equipment costs in, let's say, advance of 150,000 euros, and you need to train the technician. So what we are putting here is, let's say, the best somewhat off-the-shelf sensors that you can buy in Europe. So they are a little bit expensive, but when we are with the price here, it can be done, let's say, much cheaper, because here we really have to obey to all the scientific standard, technical standards, which are maybe really precise, but not so, let's say, too precise for the, let's say, normal farming. If you go to next slide. So these are the basic components that represent the soil node. So we have CO2 flux. This basically measures the root activities and the metabolites in the soil, which is very important for the carbon storage, to understand activity on the soil, and in context with other data to understand the soil health and what does, let's say, the vegetation needs for growth. So we are measuring also soil moisture and electrical conductivity, of course, with soil temperature. I was listening to coordinator, to Borja, speaking about the soil intrusions. As you know, this climate change, as far as I understand, is accelerating, and it's accelerating fast. I mean, this is also the reason why my company is getting heavily involved into this research project, because we really need to step together and do something about the policies, because the extremities in Europe are getting really say, not good. And we still don't have any, let's say, major technical policies on how to stop degradation, what to do with the salinity intrusions. Yeah, and for that matter, let's say we also introduced this electric conductivity measurements, where we basically measure conductivity of the soil, as the name says, and we are trying to find out how much water and other solids are dissolved in the ground. Yeah, so this is about the soil node. The next slide. So the climate node. Maybe before I start talking about the climate node, it's like the first comment I got is the weather stations are really expensive to implement, which is kind of true. But if you have, let's say, large farms over 100 hectares, this climate node can bring you much more granular picture of your fields, and you can do precise air, predict pest emergencies. You can optimize spraying. You can calculate real-time evaporation, calculate how much water exactly do you need, and so on. And of course, you can predict, let's say, the emergence of the pests and fungi and so on and so forth. Yeah, next slide. So with climate node, we are measuring air temperature and humidity. We are measuring wind speed direction, precipitation, and global solar radiation. These are just some technical tools that are, let's say, bundled together, and you can get, let's say, really exact predictions on large scale farms. But I would say that for a small farms, and if the local stations are quite close and the landscape is not, let's say, extreme, because you can be in the valley, you can be on the hill, and in 20 kilometers the climate can be much different. You can, let's say, really take care of your crops, or understand what's wrong with the vegetation. So the next slide, please. So yeah, the vegetation node. The vegetation node, we are basically trying to studying the life cycle. That means from planting to reaping. For our purpose, in our project, we are using phenology cameras. These are built-in systems that takes time-lapse camera, time-lapse images of the field and try to calculate different indexes such as the production, the mass of the vegetation, the leaf indexes, and stuff like that. So by tracking, let's say that the changes, this vegetation was basically a camera that takes pictures every half an hour. These images are then calculated or directly transferred depending on the needs to the backend servers, to the information factory. Maybe if you go to the next slide. So this is like this vegetation node. It's a building camera with these sensors and have some internal diagnostics. And most importantly, it's really well tested and it's widely used. Otherwise, we have quite a few problems getting this equipment. But the final resolution was that maybe in the next project, instead of cameras, if you go to the next slide, we will use drones. So one of the crucial parts of the setting up the sensor networks is data acquisition device. This is just a normal modem that has all the sensors attached and is transmitting data to the cellular node. It's designed in a way that is really robust. You can jump on it and it still work. And it's 24/7 with solar panels. And it's kind of, let's say, interface. So you can connect various types of sensors on it. You can have, let's say, 8 sensors connected, or maybe only 2 sensors connected. But this will help transmit you the data even in locations that are like really, really remote and have really, really bad cellular connections. Because we will send data in a small packages and normalize the transmission. So at the end user, let's say farmer, will always have access to the real data at any time, and the system will perform robustly. If you go to the next slide. So this is the actual device. It's main features are, like I said, stability, data integrity, transmitting data in batches. This is not something hard to set up, and it also have in built-in keyboard. Otherwise, we try to do it plug and play. You just plug it in, and we can manage the device remotely and help the end user. If you go to the next slide, please. So, what is the next strategy, at least in the domain of agriculture, agroforestry, and let's say suburbs that are heavily populated by vegetation? I think the best strategy would be to really have some basic sensors installed into the soil at the critical, let's say, parts to know about pests, to know about irrigations, to know about I don't know what's the English word, but when a lot of rain falls, it comes to the soil washing. And of course, I would strongly suggest not to use any cameras, but to use modern drones. I must say, really, really unfortunately, but Europe as research into this type of agricultural tools for let's say providing better yield and stuff like that. We are quite behind Indonesia. We are quite behind Thailand. We are quite behind Japan. I think that China is fourth. We are really behind China, and we really need to invest more into the agricultural satellite drones, which are really, really useful, not just for the observation and determining what is wrong and what needs to be done, but also for the right direct action, like spraying, like watering and stuff like that. Yeah. Um, um, this would be most from my side. Maybe I would just go to some SWOT analysis because I saw that there was some comments from the previous workshops. Um, so yeah, maybe I will go with just to strengths and threats. Maybe the most strengths is like maybe the real time data is not so it's not the right term because we are not using real time data. It's basically not needed because soil processes are quite small, but um, constant, reliable data that can support decisions can and will certainly come to the better decisions in making better vegetations, preventing soil degradations, and stuff like that. Um, mm, it would be also really nice if we could introduce some kind of standardized let's say responding or warning system that is especially targeted in the properties of soil, let's say soil health and yield of crops, let's say vegetation, and of course the climate. Um, me and the head of the laboratory media, we were trying to put this into some kind of ISO framework, but there is just no ISO standard in Europe, or I couldn't find it that is also possible. So we could have some kind of technical frameworks from where to build these and networks. Yes. Um, mm, Also, maybe I will just go to the this cost effectiveness and complexity of installation. As far as I understand, uh, modern sensors have become really inexpensive. Um, there is not much to understand except you have to know your land and your soil on how to properly install them. And like I said, even there is really poor internet connection, we can connect. And maybe also this, we were checking how much will cost the data transfer in certain countries for this whole operation. And let's say, I hope not mistaken, but 1 month of Italy, let's say for a huge farm, I think it's over 300 hectares of land, and they have huge network. It will cost us something like 10 euros for data transmission. So let's say this part is like really inexpensive. The sensors, like I said, are not so problematic. Let's say a little bit problematic are let's say data loggers. These devices really have to be robust, and usually they are not so inexpensive. They are between, let's say, I would say 500 to 3,000 euros. Um, so yeah, I think it's the right time, and if you have even small resources or if you need some help, you can also contact my company. We will help with advices, no problem. It's really time to start using them because it really gives you in-depth understanding of what is going on, what are the trends, what can we do, should we change the land use, should we move, I don't know. So if I go back to our initial talk about with Borja, as far as I see, the predictions are really bad, and we will need to do some kind of indoor agriculture or something similar. So I really don't know. We can fight for some time, but if the water levels will rise so fast, if the temperature of the soil will be so high, and the worst thing is when also the ice will melt, the what is the English word, will stop. Let's say this ocean flows will stop, and the predictions are really bad. And I'm taking this from the Potsdam Institute of Climate and also from the Bonn Institute. So yes, it's time to do something about land use and land change, and of course it's time to introduce kind of standardized sensors, so we will know quite well how much the installation cost and cost of the equipment. Maybe just one small notion. Even if you have a large farm, the installations of sensors, if you have pre-prepared locations, it takes, let's say, 1 day for 2 technicians. And it's let's say, not so hard and nothing really complex about it. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that detailed presentation on the multi-sensing ecosystem, David. It's fascinating to see how these land-based monitoring tools, from soil sensors to phenologic cameras, can give us such precise info on into climate, soil health, and vegetation. David, in your professional view, which of these measurements is making the biggest difference for farmers or land managers in their daily decision making, or is it the whole system?
So yeah, let's say I will just exclude this major. So we have less precipitation, but when we have precipitation, it's much stronger. We have this. So I would say measurements of soil, because the soil will just the kill plants, of course, moisture. So we can calculate, let's say, water consumption. This will be a big problem, big problem. Enough clean water for the irrigation, enough clean water for drinking. So we need to start preparing some kind of similar as for the hydro plants, but for the watering. I would say you need to have CO2 fluxes, because then you know how good is your root systems. You need to have some kind of salinity, and my worst concern is one of the major threats with climate change is the introduction of pests. This goes, let's say, already many years ago, but there will be huge jump in new types of pests and fungi. So farmers needs to prepare that, and this will be one other thing that will hamper the food production in Europe. Yeah.
Thank you
Something.
so much for your answer. Before we move to the next part, we would again love to get your input. So please scan the questionnaire, the QR code of the questionnaire, or visit the link that has already been provided in the chat. And we'll continue at 10:30 with our next part. Yeah, we have the results. So Julia, can you scroll down? There's one question that I'm interested in regarding, I think it was number 6 or 7. Oh yeah, 6. Which future technology integration are you most excited? It's almost a tie. David, do you have a comment on this?
No, not really. I would strongly encourage everybody to. It's a really fine book, and there are some short excerpts. It's called the Agriculture Phone 4.0. This is some well studied from our Western colleagues, and I think that drones for scanning and automated spraying and so many other things. I think you have drones that can easily lift up to 200 kilograms and can be shared with farms because this is just an automated tool. Yeah. Powered predictive analytics and alerts. Of course, we live in the age of AI, but we need to implement these policies. I'm afraid of we are like this general that knows everything about the battle, but nobody's fighting the battle, so we are losing. And I'm some little bit scared. I'm sorry.
Let's be
So yes,
optimistic.
thank you.
Let's be
Thank you, Lucio. Thank you, Lucio.
So we have mentioned AI, and now comes for me the most exciting part of the project, the scenario builder and the AI decision support recommendation engine. It's both fascinating and complex. Mr. Aris Bonanos from Exus AI Labs will walk us through the underlying AI concepts that drive this part of the project and maybe explain the behind-the-scenes development work required. We'll see. So, Aris, we are ready for your presentation.
Thanks, Yuko, for the introduction, and welcome to everyone from my side. As you said, my name is Aris Bonanos. I'm from Exus Software. We are a partner in the EARTHONE project, developing the scenario builder and AI-powered recommendation engine. So with this presentation, I want to give an overview of what these tools will do. I won't get into too many technical details. It's a short presentation followed similar structure to what you saw before. So I'll give also a SWOT analysis. And I think that also helps to convey the functionalities of the tools that we're developing. So with that, if we can proceed to the next slide. So the scenario builder itself, the objective is to create a digital tool that will enable the users to explore potential future scenarios in an interactive way and customizable fashion. So we want to give decision makers a tool with which they can tailor climate conditions, land use change, and even test what-if cases that include extreme weather events or unprecedented shifts in meteorological conditions. We want to emphasize local conditions here, such as plot size, historical land use, and other specific conditions, to ensure that every scenario can be explored. Now, the tool is designed to support a deep understanding of climate impacts on phenology and productivity, while also taking into account policy constraints. Essentially, the scenario builder is a powerful exploration tool that bridges detailed simulation data developed by other partners in the project with real-world decision-making. So the user will also have the ability to save and compare various scenarios that they create through this tool. If we go to the next slide, I will give a schematic overview of what the scenario builder looks like. It's integrated within the EARTHONE framework through a front end that enables users to interact with a user-friendly interface through which they can customize simulation parameters or draw inputs from the climate work done in other work packages of the project. And once these parameters are set, then the behind-the-scenes work takes over, where it integrates several simulation models ranging from global climate change predictions to land use change, climate impacts, and phenology impacts, where these models do not only explore land use impacts, but also track vegetation dynamics and biodiversity trends. So this integrated approach ensures that the user can save, compare, and thoroughly analyze different scenarios in a flexible and robust way. On the next slide, please. This tool is integrated with the AI-based decision support system that forms the backbone of our recommendation engine. Here, we incorporate diverse data sources, such as the field observations mentioned by David previously, on-site measurements, and IoT infrastructure inputs. And these real-time and localized datasets are integrated with simulation outcomes, provide comprehensive picture of the current and projected conditions that could occur in our specific location. The system processes location-specific information to fine-tune recommendations, ensuring that advice is both context-aware and highly relevant to a particular climate or land use changes that are faced by a specific region. And finally, in the last slide, I would like to give a little bit more insight about the tools itself. That the AI sorry, I lost my track of thought there for a second. So this tool integrates an intervention library where interventions are drawn from historical analogs that have been previously tested and shown to be positively evaluated in similar conditions. And it integrates local measurements to use some highly innovative AI algorithms, such as clustering or swarm intelligence algorithms, to determine what the most suitable recommendations in each specific conditions are. So very broadly, this is the overview of the scenario builder tool and how it integrates with how its outcome is to show also some recommendations that the user can share, can view and decide if they want to apply or not in their specific condition. So in the next slide, I will go over some SWOT analysis. First, the strengths. So for the scenario builder, it's a tool to create interactive what-if scenarios where the user can dynamically adjust climate and land use parameters. And then through the recommendation engine, receive tailored interventions that specifically match the user's expected future conditions. Another strength is that the scenario builder enables evidence-based planning based on science-backed outputs, while the recommendation engine uses AI techniques to ensure that the recommendations are derived from historically successful analogs. Another strength that this came up from the past workshops, as was mentioned earlier, is that the scenario builder allows users to save and view scenarios side by side to enable direct comparison of the results, while the recommendation engine aids users to identify common interventions that are suitable for multiple scenarios. So given that, I would like also to open it up for a discussion now to see if through this discussion you have identified other strengths, if someone wants to jump in and mention, or if you consider one of these more important than another strength. I'd also be interested in hearing that.
Maybe the use of historical data is also a strength.
Yeah, so this comes in through the intervention library that was mentioned. This is provided from the users on what has previously worked from them, and then we can match this with different localities. As long as the conditions are similar, we can provide such recommendations then that are tailored, and we know that they have been successful. Okay, we can proceed then to the next slide for the weaknesses. So here, for the scenario builder, the availability of multiple parameters without default values might overwhelm the users, although we try to give this in a user-friendly input. If someone is not familiar with all the various parameters and their meaning, this could then cause some a worry or stress to them to operate the tool. For the recommendation engine, the interventions are based on this intervention library that we just discussed that may not contain suitable interventions for a particular ecoregion, soil type, or socioeconomic context. The recommendation engine has also a potential for bias since it's an AI-based algorithm. So the intervention library data if it's populated, let's say from large commercial farms, then the recommendations might not be feasible or applicable to smaller farms. And then for the scenario builder, there could be a high entry barrier for non-technical users. And for the recommendation engines, similarly, high entry barrier for non-scientific stakeholders that may need training before being comfortable to use this interface. Again, feel free either to jump in the discussion or to enter in the chat any comments that you might have. I'll proceed with the opportunities on the next slide. For the scenario builder, the customization of scenarios to include local policy-driven guide rails, such as carbon tax, subsidy, eligibility, land use change regulations, is an opportunity to make it easier for public agencies to trial various compliance options. For the recommendation engine, the dynamic expansion of the intervention library based on the results that we will obtain during the EARTHONE pilots and the field measurements from other region countries with similar characteristics is also a very engaging opportunity. For both tools, linking with other decision support tools is very nice for holistic planning. So if you had other tools external to the project that did water right management or market price forecasting, crop user yield estimations, this could help the local farmers make decisions as they explore the potential future scenarios, climate scenarios that are they see coming for their region. And then the ability to add multilingual support will improve end user adoption across the various countries that we want to test. And finally, in the last slide for the threats, there could be a lack of trust or failure to understand why a given recommendation was proposed due to insufficient explanations that sometimes AI tools act as black boxes, so there's no associated explanations with the recommendations that are provided. For the scenario builder, the climate models that are rendered might be rendered not relevant due to unforeseen impacts of climate change or the strength of climate change that is experienced in a specific region. For the recommendation engine, if the national climate adaptation policy changes, so let's say the subsidy criteria or land use regulations change, then the recommendations could become outdated or irrelevant. And finally, over-reliance on historical data that might not be relevant under the novel climate extremes that we could experience in the future. So again, if someone wants to jump in or put in the chat some thoughts on the use of these tools, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, we would be more than happy to hear your input. So back to you, Luca.
So if we don't have any volunteers that would like to jump into discussion, I suggest we move to the questionnaire. So yeah, as previously, scan the QR code. We'll be back in 10 minutes to continue with our last part of this workshop.
The templates, I would go for the template. So I would agree with the majority, although it's not a majority. They help guide because there's a structure behind the scenario, so it will help guide the tool to work. This might be also a technical consideration to make the process easier. Yeah, I agree that predefined templates are probably needed for this tool.
Can we scroll down?
May I just say something, please?
Yes, Professor. Thank you for joining.
This is only to make a comment about the presentation now, because I'm really impressed that we see them in real time. As for us, it took us a whole week's work effort to produce things like that. graphs like that. And I remember when we prepared our workshop, Aris came up with the idea and we said, well, let's not bother too much about that. But now I see why he suggested that.
That
Yeah.
means that
Different
we are
tool.
improving over time.
Yes, yes,
It was
yes,
a
yes.
different tool, but Julia did a good job with his selection.
Well done, Julia. Yes.
Can we move down? Okay, divided. The biggest challenge, lack of reliable data inputs. Interesting.
Challenge with any AI-based tool up to the data that we have to train the algorithms.
Yeah, this is interesting. What is your primary reason for using AI-driven decision support? Land use strategies? Accessing our choices. Okay. Territorial planning. Interesting. Yeah, I would like to see number 17. Yeah. Okay, interactive dashboard with scenario analysis.
There's a clear preference there. I think we are heading towards that way anyway, so good to have that validation.
Yeah, great. Okay, so I believe we are ready to close this section and transition to the next. Thank you. Aris, it's really exciting to see how these digital tools and AI can support evidence-based planning for climate adaptation and land use for crop production, etc. What stands out is actually how the system will allow us to explore different what-if scenarios and then receive tailored recommendations that match with the local conditions. So that's interesting. Now we move to the next and last key element of the EARTHONE project, the information factory. This is basically a system that harmonizes diverse sources from sensors to satellite data and transforms them into usable insight for land managers, policymakers, and researchers. And to guide us through this, we are joined by Juan Sebastián Ochoa Zambrano and Miguel Ángel López Peña from SATEC, who will present how the information factory is being developed, what features it will provide, how it connects with the broader EARTHONE ecosystem. So, gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Lucho. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sebastián Ochoa. I'm the technical coordinator at the innovation department on SATEC. And I will introduce a little bit the concept of the information factory and the main components and the main features. We think we can start with the first slide. Okay. We think the information factory is the core technological component of the EARTHONE project. The information factory is a new concept of digital data framework that we would like to introduce, and we consider the evolution of data lakehouse or data lakes in the data space, providing a full environment to manage the entire data and document cycle from the data acquisition until the data processing, modeling, and prediction. Okay. What is exactly a data space in this concept? Typically, a data lake is a place where we can store a high volume of different kinds of unprocessed data. A data space instead is a kind of federated and decentralized space that doesn't just allows to the storage of the data, of different kind of data, but also enables the sharing and the interchange of the data between the other organizations or other entities. The concept of the information factory takes the concept of the data space one step further, providing several data analytic tools or AI tools for data analysis, prediction, and visualizations. Which includes several toolkits of AI analytics and tools for data processing and data visualization. Okay. Next slide, please. What is the objective of the information factory? The information factory allows to collect data from different data sources, including relevant indicators for the projects, including like climate, soil, and land use and land change data from the Europe Union regions. And in conjunction with their multi-sensing capabilities, allows researchers or data scientists to develop AI-based models or simulations to help providing insights or recommendations to policymakers, landowners, or land managers in the sector of land usage in order to reduce the greenhouse gases. For this, the platforms provides an entire ecosystem from the edge with sensing technologies in different pilots in different regions, combined with global and regional climate models to provide value-added solutions or value-added services to the stakeholders for better decisions in land use management. Okay. Can you please pass to the next slide? Okay. What is the proposal of the information factory? One information factory pretends to provide a new data infrastructure to gather, manage, process, and analyze different data sources of different heterogeneous data sources in the scope of the climate, soil, and land change and usage. The infrastructure is comprised of several layers and components that allows the collection, storage, process, analysis, and the access of heterogeneous data related to the climate and soil use from different data sources, in conjunction with a set of analytical and AI data tools to generate value-added results. The information factory provides several tools for data analyzing and guarantee the interoperability with other platforms, allowing the data exchange and enrichment of the results. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, what are the main features of the information factory? The information factory has, as I mentioned at the beginning, is the core of the technological core of the project. It allows to manage all the data, indicators, and informations gathered from the different pilots, or even from the research literature or other data repositories, allowing the processing, pre-processing, the storage, analyzing, and prediction of different models. The information factory also allows to generate real-time data from the edge sensing technology, helping us to develop new services using this data. We can use the different data sources to combine and generate more complex models to allow us to generate better predictions about weather conditions or soil status or soil health, in order to provide recommendations, suggestions about the land management and land usage. It enables us to develop a wide variety of applications and services related with soil and land change that helps different land managers, landowners, or policymakers to make a better use of the soils and, of course, to reduce the greenhouse gases. The information factory also enables the data sharing and interoperability allowing the interchange with other data sources or other data providers, allowing to make better analysis or even the enrichment of the own data, of the own data. Okay. Next, please. There is a simple graph trying to summarize a little bit the main concepts of the information factory. The information factory, as I told before, allows us the ingestion of different data sources, for example, literature, databases, international databases, and of course, the data collection of the sensor nodes deployed in the different nodes, the ingestion of the satellite image or geo-based files in a single one platform that provides several tools from data analysis, data processing, pre-processing, and tools also for developing and deploying different AI models. In this way, it's easy to create, for example, a decision support system to make recommendations on specific topics, or even to handle the scenario builder with customizable variables that allows, for example, landowners to make their own prediction, or they make their own simulations and see how the weather can be used or optimized in different conditions. Okay. And the data and the information given to the user is crucial, I think, for the entire cycle of the project to help to accomplish the different objectives that we have. Okay. Can we pass to the next slide? And next slide is a more simple graph where you can see the information factory is basically composed of several elements, like different data ingestors that allows the collection of different data sources, for example, the satellite images, the sensors, external repositories, and so on. The information factory, it's a federated space that can be managed by different users with different roles, allowing the creation of climate model or environment models for making predictions or making analysis about the land use and land change, and so on. And finally, we also includes the data space connector, enabling the platform to interchange with the other European data spaces that give more powerful features for data analyzing and data enrichment of the platform. Finally, I would like to share a little bit what is the concept that we have in mind about the architecture of our platform. It's can you pass to the next slide, please? Basically, our platform is composed by two planes. What we call the control plane, that is equivalent to the data space or the European data space, and we have the data plane that is the data core of the platform. The control plane is in charge of all the data interchange with the other repositories or other data space under the FAIR principles: findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable, of course. And the data plane includes all the data gathering, data analytics, and data processing tools that allow us to generate the new models or the new surveys to generate value-added solutions. Okay. We can see in the next slide a little bit of the architecture more in detail. We have here the two main planes, the control plane and the data plane, and each plane is composed of several layers. We see the security is transversal to all layers because we try to accomplish all the regulatory policies of the European Union. and of course of the data governance, try to preserve all the private data. On the data plane, we have different components that allow the data ingestion from different R1 sensor devices, data repositories, and even applications. We have a persistent layers composed by different databases to store structured and non-structured files, allowing the ingestion of different kind of objects. And of course, we introduce a specific layer for data processing and data analytics, and a layer for the entire cycle of machine learning services, allowing to the users for the creation, the developing, and the deployment of different services. It allows the platforms to generate new service with great facility, because we can deploy it in the same platform and integrate as a new service. On the control plane side, we have different, we have the interface layer where the final users or the policymakers, landowners can interact with the platform with different visualization dashboards, allowing the interaction, for example, with the scenario builder or with the recommendation system. We have also the international data space connector, allowing to interchange the data with another data spaces. It provides a catalog of service where the other user or other partners can consume our services, or even we can consume services from other data spaces to generate more complex service that give more insights about land use and land management. Okay. Other data spaces can handle different kinds of data sets that can be useful in this kind in the platform for soil and land use analysis. This is a little bit what is the main concept of the information factory. I think as I mentioned, this is the core platform or the technological platform, the core technological of the L1 project, because the information factory handles all the information, the technological resources, as the scenario builder, as the AI models and the AI services, and also the data storage of the data sensors from the different pilots. In the next slides, Miguel Angel, the research leader of the department, we'll talk about the SWOT analysis, about different opportunities and challenges that we must face in this topic.
Yes, thank you, Sebastian.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sebastian. Next slide, please. Yes, you know that one of the most important goals of EARTHONE is to provide an information factory as the tool, as the digital tool for final users, in order to not only access to data, but also to access to rich information, recommendation, and different functionalities. So for that, we are developing an analysis about the information factory in order to translate the most important parts to the requirements and specification of the platform. This analysis is a SWOT analysis, and well, I would like to ask you for what's your perspective as final users in order to improve the strengths and and opportunities, and minimize the weakness and threats. Well, only as a summary, we analyze the strengths that are internal aspects that give you an advantage in your work or business or project, the weakness that are negative internal aspects that limit your work, opportunities that are positive external factors that you can take advantage of, and threats that are negative external factors that could harm your work, project or business or so on. Until now, next please. Until now, we have been working with the data from previous workshop and users that provide us different comments. So at the moment, we have a set of aspects that we are taking into account in our specification and of Information Factory. And I would like to ask you for feedback. You can write in the chat or send us your comments or your proposal of aspects by mail or as you want. Until now, we have some identified strengths. For example, the platform, the Information Factory will be multi-user and multi-group tool. So the Information Factory will be accessed by scientists, policymakers, farmers, etc., etc. Another aspect is the integration of heterogeneous data sources. Our goal is not only to provide data, but also other kind of information. For example, documents. I don't know, for example, about directives from European Commission, European Union, or scientific or technical documents, or GPS image analysis and or GPS or sorry. Satellite images or something like that. For us, it's a strength to include in the platform different kind of data sources, but also the results of different analysis of this information. Another strength for us is the institutional support. Well, this project is funded by European Union and is aligned with Green Deal's priorities. In the technical aspect, or from the point of view of the users, the system will be aligned with European data spaces and with features of fair data principles. The data will be findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. About the weakness, maybe financial barriers could be a problem, no, for users. But our goal is to provide this platform to the users, and we suppose that the price will be very slow, no, very low. Sorry. Another weakness could be the difficulty of translating complex scientific findings and models into simple, actionable advice for farmers. We will be especially careful with about how present the results of the analysis in the platform. And maybe another weakness could be that some users could need a large curve. Maybe they will need a long time to use the platform with all these functionalities. Maybe we'll have difficulties to to use all the functionalities of the platform. So we will work in this aspect in order to reduce this weakness. Well, about the opportunities, we have received some suggestion about how to sharing information between users and user groups to support in land use and climate management processes and generated a knowledge base of regional models about the land use modification and climate change. In this way, in this last point, we think that the goal of integrating the platform different documents from European Union can be a good aspect. And finally, the threats that you can encounter here is a low adoption rates among non-technical users due to the lack of digital skills. Well, in fact, we will work in provide a very easy way to access to the platform and a very friendly interfaces. Another can be the potential difficulty in translating outputs into practical information farmers. In fact, there are a lot of scientific works that have to be translate in the results to the final users, in this case farmers or other final users. Another threat could be the financial limitation, and the last one is the changes in agriculture policies or environment regulation in European Union or in the different countries that may affect the tool relevance or feasibility. Well, this is our state of SWOT analysis, but again, I would like to ask you for your feedback, your recommendation, your new aspects that you consider could be an opportunity, threat, weakness, etc. And we will translate your opinions to our specification in order to reduce the weakness and the threats and improve all the opportunities and all the opportunities, in fact, to improve the positive aspects of the result. So
thank you.
After that,
oh, yeah,
yes,
sorry.
we can pass to the question.
Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Miguel, and also thanks to Juan for the previous presentation and for this explanation of the information factory. I believe that enabling knowledge transfer between scientists and farmers is also a strength of the information factory. And it's impressive to see how EARTHONE is creating a data infrastructure that not only brings together information from sensors, satellites, and different databases, but also makes it usable for policy decision makers and practitioners. Since we are moving quickly and we are ahead of our schedule, I suggest we skip the coffee break and aim to finish the workshop earlier than planned. With that in mind, let's move to the information factory questionnaire, followed by our final, I promise, last round of feedback. So scan the code, visit the link in the chat. We have 10 minutes and we are back to the final part. Okay, this is interesting.
Yes, Sebastian, can you comment on the results?
Yes, of course. For us, it's really important all these this feedback because it allows us to fit the requirements in a better way. I think, okay, one of the main challenges.
Yes,
Sorry.
I wanted to comment question number 6.
Okay.
Yeah. This is interesting because 35% are manually collecting data.
Mm-hmm.
Also, question number 7. Importing and exporting files from the information factory. Excel files, PDF reports. Nice.
Yes, we think we are covering all these kind of formats, allowing the processing of.
Is there any
different files.
specific question that you want to see the results of?
No, I think you can go down and we can review all of them. I think most of the results are expected results, yes. Okay. Nice. Thank you for all the people for their answers because are really relevant for us. But this is easy to us to establish a more clear requirements
Okay.
and interfaces for facilitating the data ingestion, for example, the manual data. Of course, we can think about different ways.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have anything else to comment on, or we should move to the last part and closing the workshop?
Yeah, I think we can pass to the final
Okay.
part of the workshop. Okay. Thank you so much.
Great. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We've covered a lot today, and I think that we can all agree that we've done a really good job together. So thank you all for your attention, your engagement, and your answers and contribution throughout this workshop. Before we officially conclude, we have one final step, the final feedback questionnaire. This is really important for us because your reflections will help us understand what worked well, what can be improved, and how plus we can make the project even more relevant to your needs. So just please take few minutes, 5 minutes of your time to scan the QR code, answer this final questionnaire, and we are back to officially, I promise, close the workshop. All right, so as we come to the end of today's workshop, I want to sincerely thank you, all of you, 69 participants at one moment, for your active participation and input. This has been the third in our series of workshops, and all of your contributions will feed into one comprehensive report. That report will be published publicly as one of the official project deliverables, and of course we will keep you informed about any new developments as the project moves forward. We truly hope that, and I truly hope that the workshop wasn't boring and that it gave you a chance to see different approaches, explore some new ideas, and get a taste of the tools that we are, as EARTHONE project, are planning to develop and apply. Your feedback today is essential in shaping them into something truly useful for stakeholders like you. So thank you once again for your time, your openness, and your engagement and answers. We look forward to sharing the outcomes with you soon. And in the meantime, as social media influencers prefer to say, like, share, subscribe to our channels on social media, because even science needs fans. So thank you once again, and see you in some other occasion. Bye-bye.